Welcome to the University of Colorado at Boulder. So happy that you've decided to join me today to talk about the design and analysis of operating systems. We're going to explore operating systems, see what's inside of them, how they work. What we're going to do first is talk a little bit about how it is that we're going to be able to talk about operating systems. And probably the first thing is we need to start thinking about how to talk about the different components that are in a computer. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about maybe the CPU. So we'll talk about the fact that there is a CPU. What else is there in a computer? There's some memory. So we're going to have some memory. And we're going to be able to now put applications into the system to be able to use those two. So the first thing is we've got to have an application. And we're going to have an application that's sitting up here that a user has written and wants to be able to run. So how are we going to do that? Well, we've got to load this application into memory and then have the CPU and memory talk to each other to be able to get the information and execute whatever that program is, storing the information back into memory. If we want to be able to now store information long term, we can't put it just into memory because that's volatile, meaning that you'll lose it as soon as the power to the computer goes off. If we want to do it long term, we're going to have something like a disk sitting out here. And we could have a disk to be able to store for long term. This application, now, if it wants to actually use that disk, it's going to have to know something about that disk. And so it's going to have a little bit of memory, a little bit of its code sitting there waiting for the rest of the program to use that and want to store something down into this disk. And when it does that, it's going to have some code here that tells it exactly how to talk to this disk. And if we had another application, application 2 sitting here, then again, it would have to have some information about how to talk to that disk. And so now we've got multiple things that are trying to talk to that disk. Well, we now have two applications. Which one is going to use the CPU? How are we going to be able to manage what is being done? We're going to have the OS. So we're going to have an operating system sitting in here that's able to now interface between applications and devices and the computer itself. So what kind of information are we going to put inside of here? Well, these applications want to talk to disk. Are there other things that it wants to talk to? Probably. We've probably got other devices, such as, I don't know, we'll probably have a display, some kind of display. We're probably going to have a keyboard. So we're going to need a keyboard of some kind. It's going to have information on it to where we get information from it. Maybe we're going to have a mouse. So we're going to have some mouse. It's going to have something there for us. So we have all these devices that we want the applications to talk to. So if this application wants to talk to that, it's going to now have to have a connection down here. This one's going to have that code to talk to this.